So, welcome back to the final part of my conversation with our ambassador, John. So, we were talking at the end of part 2 about recycle IT and how it sort of helped and grown and sort of flourished. But I suppose the important thing is, there's two sides to what we're talking about. Is the ambassador program going into prisons, which we touched on, and obviously you as a growing sort of social enterprise, and those sort of things are partially intertwined, I think, in terms of you and your personal growth and the growth of the organisation. But in terms of sort of going back into the prison, so some of the prisons we've been into, we did some sessions at Buckley Hall, which is the long-term sort of male prison up in Rochdale.
Yeah.
So, how again we had yourself and the other ambassadors were there, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, sort of talk. So, how do you feel that? What sort of feedback can you recall from? The men that were there, how
good.
Positive
No, it was really good. There's a click, there's a moment when you see somebody else and they've offended, or they've lived experience, or they've been through the ringer, or they've had some trauma, or they've got mental health and well-being, and there's a recognition, and I could feel that recognition and knowledge with all of them. But when I was saying things about self-employment or going through about myself and my own experiences, about when I was my own barrier and my own bottleneck, and I didn't realise it. And I thought, HMRC is really complicated and I'm not going to be able to get my tax and it's all too much. And somebody just broke it down for me, and it was really, really easy. And it was kind of relating across to people that in the system, in some ways you can't progress because we have offences and we have difficulties and we have barriers, and those are systemic, those are self-made. But we can be our own solution. We can actually overcome them if we work on it.
Yeah, and I think it's quite key. So people in the prison system understanding and learning, from your experience, how you've overcome those barriers. I think is, a very powerful message for them, isn't it? Because in the prison sometimes the message is very, very negative. You talk about prisons and probation and riots and
revolving doors,
back up. Where actually, if you think about business and entrepreneurship, it's about resilience, it's about hard work, it's about entrepreneurship, it's about finance, it's about money, it's about learning new things, adapting, resilience, grit.
I was talking with Sam, the other ambassador, this morning about, if what happens to us happens to some big corporate business sometimes, they'll be running around like headless chickens because they've never been through real adversity and real challenge, and their bank balances or whatever are skimming dangerously close to and they're just going to trigger and run around. Where it happens to us, and we automatically think, okay, if that's going to happen, what do we do?
Yeah.
How do we deal with that? Yeah. We're more practical, we're more driven, and we're more able to, because we've bounced back from low positions and low places. So we're able to come into business and not be so stressed as such.
Yeah, I understand
in that same way.
Yeah, that's probably why I'm so stressed with that. But I think, in terms of the sort of future, as you say, recycle IT is growing. You've got sort of bigger customer base, you've got a bigger sort of base of people that you're helping, and we sort of said briefly about being an award-winning sort of organisation, which is again someone coming from selling the big issue, being in sort of prison, to being an organisation that's an award-winning.
Now establishments and organisations are giving me money and awards to do this. Yeah. They believe in us. That's really empowering.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So the one that we talked about off sort of camera is the Recycle for Greater Manchester.
Yeah,
so what's just to sort of share with the audience.
So it's the Community Waste Fund to empower us in the digital hive and the digital hub to help the people of Bolton become more digitally aware and have access to digital equipment. So to power our schemes and to power what we're doing here. But it's working with Recycle for Greater Manchester and Suez, so it's the recognition as well. Yeah.
And that's it, it's important, isn't it? So someone who's an entrepreneur, social entrepreneur, getting that recognition and that kudos and that brand awareness now are things that are useful for you to grow and develop your business.
Yes.
But for you as an individual to develop and grow, and as you say,
one of our clients is Cars Past. 20 years ago, I would have never said, "Oh no, I'm going to be working with Cars on a service level agreement, on a contractual level, where they're suppliers." Yeah. And it's amazing stuff.
It is really, really good. Yeah. So I think, for us, in the future in terms of the ambassador program. You know, we want to go into more prisons and talk to more people. We want to work more with probation, and it's about, you know, finding people that can help us and fund the work that we do both with social enterprises. So our ask, you know, as an ambassador and a founder is, you know, check out our website, www.entrepreneursalunlocked.org. Check out the Recycle IT website to see what we're doing.
Yep.
Come and talk to us, start a conversation, see how we can maybe come into your prison, come into your establishment. We can work with people that you support so they can use entrepreneurship as a way to change their future. So thank you, John, for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Proud to know you.
Glad to know you
Thank you
too.
very much. Yeah.
You're welcome.